What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel and another video. And today we have kind of an important video to make. So early in the season, today's launch day for some of you, and I feel like this is a very important video to get out there. This was the #1 viewed video in MLB The Show 22. So maybe we can beat that this year as well. I think we got up to 78,000 views in last year's version of a created player build for 125 power. So the way this video is going to work is we're going to go over everything that you need to do to get this build right here. Now, it's a work in progress because of base points and everything, and I feel like this year it's a little bit different with the base. It's a little bit slower to grind that base. So this actually took me a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. So let's start off by just showing you guys real quick at the 125 power second baseman here and kind of how the build is all the way around for the other attributes that you will see on this player and this build. Like I said, it's a little bit different this year. You can do a lot of different archetypes for different position. So it's a little bit more straightforward, I feel like, a little bit easier. It's just the grind is a little bit more. So this is how we're going to check and see the actual attributes on this player right now. So you will see here that we only have the 125 power versus right, but that's because we haven't faced enough lefty pitchers in MLB The Road to the Show to get that base up to, you know, where we need it to be. So I think right now my base for power versus right is 46. 50 is the top, so we still have some, you know, room to work there. I'm going to give you the estimates on each of these attributes real quick here based on my base right now. So 125 power versus left or versus right, we're base at 46. And if you're confused as to what the base stats are, typically you're going to start at about 40 base, and then whatever equipment you have on there, whatever archetype, whatever perks you have will get that up to that 125 there. So power versus left right now, I think my base is at 41, and that's why it's at 121 power. So once I get that up there a little bit more, that's also going to be 125 on both sides. I have a switch hitter, so it's going to matter a lot. Vision's going to get pretty good here too. I think my base on the vision is around 40, 45 as well. So that can get up to maybe up to 90 there. You guys are probably wondering, like, oh, you only have 62 speed and 65 fielding on this build. Well, that's also not fully up there on base yet. I only worked on the hitting side, essentially all power, basically. The contact also will get another 10 to 11 base points, so we can get that contact up to closer to 110. So all in all, this build we'll probably have 110 contact on both sides, 125 power on both sides. We can probably actually get that contact a little bit higher depending on what perks and equipment we have on there. Fielding, I'm going to say it's going to sit probably around 75, maybe closer to 80, depending on how much my base actually is. Arm strength's going to be good. Reaction's going to get a little higher too once that base goes up. And speed, I'm thinking probably around 75 as well for the speed. So 70, 75 on the speed there. So not the speediest guy, but contact and power, man. That's all we care about, right? So that's the base of it. Let's go over the settings that you're going to want to do and how to create your created player in Road to the Show and how to transfer it over to Diamond Dynasty. So let's just start from the beginning here. The settings that you're going to want to have to make this a smooth process to get as many base points, XP for the base attributes as possible. So we're going to go to the main page here, guys, all the way at the beginning, and we're going to go to settings. So we're going to go into settings, gameplay. We want the gameplay, hitting difficulty, and pitching. Well, pitching really doesn't matter right now unless you're making a pitcher, but you're going to want to find the beginner. This is very important because beginner, the pitcher will pitch right down the middle every single time, and you're going to be able to hit those extra base hits and home runs that are needed to progress. Presentation. This is also very important because we want fast play. We don't want any of the fluff right now. We want to get through this as fast as possible. So fast play. So just copy everything that I have here. Next will be the mode-specific ones. So the mode-specific stuff we're actually going to be doing inside of actual Road to the Show. So that's the gist of it. I'll show you the settings for the mode specific ones once we're in Road to the Show, because those are very important. So before we do that though, since you know you have to create your created player on this main screen as well, this is also important. You have to do it on the main screen. You're gonna go up to your top left by your IGN there, click that circle, and you're gonna go ahead and create a new ball player. I'll create one right now so you guys can see kind of how it's gonna go, because like I said, it's a little bit different this year. Whatever position you choose, you're gonna get that position regardless of the archetype that you choose going forward. So we're gonna create a new ball player. We're just gonna do position player. I like having a second baseman as my power guy, so getting power out of the second base position is very good. So what I did for my build was I went with power. So focus on power, and I chose the second base position. You're going to want to confirm. You won't be able to change this afterwards. You don't have to do a second baseman if you don't want to, but that's what I do usually. So we're going to confirm. From here, you can do a face scan right now on the companion app if you have Android. iOS does not have this yet, so if you want to do a face scan and get your face in the game like I did, that's kind of cool. A cool feature that they added. General info, fill all this out, your name, number, all that stuff. Looks, if you have a face scan, you can still change some things on there. Equipment style, if you want to change that as well. And then motions and sounds. So motions is actually pretty important too, because the batting stance here will be a generic stance. And the one I've been using to get as many home runs as possible is the Kyle Tucker stance. Another important thing too, I almost forgot to mention was you probably want to switch hitter. So in general info, you can change this later, switch your guy to a switch hitter. So once you're done there, you're going to hit finish and your guy will be created. And then from there, you can go ahead and start your Road to the Show with your player. So now that we're back to our actual one that we want to progress through, we're going to go ahead and go into Road to the Show for the very first time. You're going to go through your team process. You get to pick your team that you want to start out with. Go through all the cutscenes, and then you're going to be taken to one of these pages. So here we go. This is the important part here. Again, we'll go into the settings, into the mode specific settings here, and just copy everything I have here, but basically the most important ones are the player locks. So we don't want to do the showtime opportunities. Again, we want to go through this as fast as possible. So we're going to turn off the showtime opportunities. We're going to turn off for now the fielding opportunities, because we're not going to focus on fielding yet. We're going to just focus on power to get to the 125 and the contact, right? So player lock, base running opportunities as well. We don't want to do any of that. So just copy everything I have here and go from there. Now the build itself, which way did we choose to get the 125 power and the build I have here? It is the Duke. So in previous years, I don't think second base was able to use the Duke. Even though you chose second base last year, if you chose a Duke, it was going to force you to be either a first baseman, a catcher, or a third baseman, or something like that. I don't remember what it was for MLB The Show 22, but this year, you can be the Duke. So we're going to go into the skill set so you can kind of see what progression we took. So we're going to go into change skill set. You're going to start out with a bronze, one of these. So sparking slugger, slick slugger, or speedy slugger. You're gonna unlock all of them. So even if you start with, say, speedy slugger, you're still gonna unlock everything all the way up to the Duke, the Showboat, and the Anomaly, because you can change that if you want to. So, but the best one out of this, if you want the most power, it's going to be the Duke. So what I did was I went with the sparking slugger right away for bronze. From there, went into the silver. From there, we went to the Duke Gold. And then from there, we finally make it to the Duke Diamond. So each one of these tiers, as you see there, will give you a little bit more towards those attributes that you want. So starting with the bronze, giving you 30 for power, all the way up to the Diamond Duke, giving you 42. So you see how those start to add up on the attributes there. Just for the fun of it, I'm going to go back to the bronze one real quick here so you can see the tasks and rewards. The only tasks we are going to worry about, so to get to the next tier, like once you start with bronze, to get to the silver stuff, you have to go all the way through the bronze ones. Then you got to get all through the silver ones to get to the gold, and then gold to silver. Okay, so the missions that we are going to be really worried about, and this is why we turned off all those showtime opportunities, all the base running opportunities, and also the fielding opportunities. The only ones we are going to worry about are plate appearances, hits, extra base hits. Those are the only 3 that we're going to be worrying about. So if you get everything's a home run or a double or a triple, those are going to count for both extra base hits and hits as well, and plate appearances. So as you guys can see here, this is why we're going to be playing on beginner, and we're going to try to hit home runs every single time. And that's going to give you 3 reward points every single time you get these stats. This part of it is actually pretty quick this year. It's just the building the base. That is the longest part about building your ball player this year. So once you do all the tasks for each and every single tier, so go through the silver, go through the gold, all the way up to the Duke, the diamond here. The diamond gives you a bunch of like diamond stuff too. So you can even make a bunch of stubs by going through here too if you pull some good diamond equipment. So your play style is done. You got the Duke, you got to the diamond. Now, it's not going to be quite enough to get you to that 125 power. You're going to have to add perks. So I have to put my perks back on since I switched to bronze. I got to put the perks that I actually was using before. So the perks I'm specifically using is Power 1, Power 3, and Power 2. And then just to boost the fielding a little bit, I'm also using Fielding 2 for fielding and full reaction. You can do speed here if you want to, if you don't care about fielding, but either way, like I said, it's going to sit around 70, 75 for both speed and fielding with this build. From there, another important part is all your equipment. So now this part can get expensive with all the diamond equipment that you get throughout the game. I probably spent around 200,000 stubs to get everything that I wanted, but this can be tweaked around. You can play around with this if you want to, but the ones that I have on here right now, for bat, I have the CBW F5 Maple that gives us 9 power and 5 contact. This is what it looks like. Now, I would probably switch to the 8-8 here for 8 contact later on once I get a little bit more of that base up. So that's the one actually is my end game, the Captain Edition. Otherwise, there's a couple 7-7s that will also be good. So 7 power, 7 contact. Batting gloves. We have the Pro Collection. This one's a little bit cheaper than the Mike Trout one. And I think there's like a Mookie Betts one or Bryce Harper. That's around 6 contact and 5 power. This is a little bit cheaper, and that's why I took this route. That's going to give us 6 contact and 5 power. Our fielding glove. We went with the one that gives us the most fielding. This was expensive, if I remember correctly. So that gives us 13 fielding there, which is very, very good. Cleats. We want the most expensive route here too. 14 speed. That is very important. I think the next one down was maybe 11 speed. So plus 14 is very, very good. Not going to worry about catcher's mask. Not going to worry about the chest protector, leg guards, elbow guards. You can if you want to, but I didn't buy diamonds for those because that's not affecting my contact and power. Clutch. Batting clutch is really important this year too, so you got to watch for that. So I have the Diamond Elite here for now. That gives me 4 clutch, 4 durability. Wrist guard. Just have a gold for that as well. Compression sleeve. This one's actually really good. You know, I don't think you need a diamond compression sleeve because for the compression sleeve, the only thing we're looking for is that arm. So the 5+ arm. It is the highest attribute that you can reach with a compression sleeve. Bat grip. This one, you can either do the Mookie Betts or the Mike Trout one. Those are the only 2 diamonds that you can get, I believe. And that gives you the 4 power. Whichever one you take, it's going to give you the same exact 4 power and 4 contact. We got eyewear. Eyewear is kind of important there too with a diamond because it's going to give you even more on the fielding. So that gives us 6 fielding, and that's why I went with the encoder. Our legendary item, which is expensive, is the legendary call. As always, that gives us the plus 8 power and plus 8 contact. So that's a big boost there for the contact and power. And of course, last but not least, is a plus 7 speed and plus 7 steal in the socks. This one specifically was free from the deluxe bundle, but if you can find socks that are around plus 7, go ahead and grab that in the marketplace. So that's it. That's the equipment there. That's the build. Now, how do we focus on power and contact while we play Road to the Show? How do we get those base points up? Another big part in getting this build here. Let's go take a look at that. So as you progress through the games here, you're going to go into and just play, right? You're just going to go and play the game. We already have the settings where we want it to be. If you have all the correct settings, this is going to work out very well for you. Once you reach like 45 for the base or 44 for the base, it's going to slow down significantly, but we're in here right now. So I usually just, you know, put it at the bottom. I anchor at the bottom and I power swing. I'm only power swinging because if you power swing, it is going to focus on the power attributes. As you saw at the top left there, I'll show you again real quick as to what I mean. Because if you do X, the X swing, or whatever the X button is for the Xbox, it's not gonna boost your power. So power swing again, right there. It says power versus right because we're facing a righty pitcher. Gave us a boost there, even though that wasn't out. Nice little equipment packs there too for the dynamic challenges. So now we're doing a lefty power swing against that as well. Your goal is to try to get doubles and home runs, so extra base hits, so that way you can continue getting all the tasks done for the Duke, right, whatever, the archetypes. So now when you're done with all the power stuff, you're cool with where the base is, you reached 125 power on both sides, you can now switch over to contact swinging. As you see there, if you press the circle and contact swing, it's going to give you the contact attributes instead of the power attributes. So you're really just focusing on those two things. You're never going to want to use the X button or whatever is it B, right? B button. You never want to focus on those. So once you progress through this, try not to sim as much as possible. I'll get into that again, because if you sim, you're going to miss out on some trainings. Trainings are very important too, to kind of cut down on the time. Let's see if I can go back to and trigger one of those said trainings. So trainings are very important because it gives you a huge boost towards what you're trying to work on. So this page kind of shows you how much you've progressed. As you see, for me, I haven't moved up that much. And these are my base stats right here, right now, to get this. So 45 power versus right, 41 versus left. Those will progress every single time you do something inside the game. All right, so I was finally able to trigger one. Usually it's the Monday of your day off. This will trigger if you play, I think, the Sunday game before it. So you can try and see if you can simulate some games during the week. But the Monday before, the game before the Monday one, you got to play it. And then I think it'll finally trigger one of these. So from here, these are important. So if you want to do the power, if you want to do the contact, you can really do whatever you want here. Whatever you want. Contact versus right and left. As you can see there, it gives us a huge boost. Practice fielding as well if you want your fielding up. 37 fielding only on that for now. So maybe that's what I'll do. And then training with the power as well. So you can train the power up a little bit more if you need it. So these will always be different. So if they're not showing up, you might have to wait another week before they'll come up. So I think I'm just going to do the fielding so the fielding can go up a little bit more, because I'm kind of happy with my power where it's at right now. So that's basically it, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, I'm nowhere close to being done. This year it's a little bit different. It's a little bit slower to get up there. I don't even think this creative player is going to get to 99 overall. So if someone has a trick to get to the 99 overall, let me know and we can make an update video. But that's about the gist of it. I've looked at some of the other skill sets, and I think the Duke is kind of the best one right now for all that power and contact. So plus the speed and fielding isn't going to be that bad, right? It's going to be around like 75. So if this build helps you out, and if you're going to create this, let me know in the comment section down below. If you have any questions, please leave those comments down below as well. Thank you all so much for watching. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one.